Hi love, welcome back. In today's class, we're making this beautiful sunflower bucket hat. If you're new to the channel, my name is MyzAyi and you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you my love, thank you darling, thank you baby for always coming back. Let's get right into class. To begin with, you are going to make a magic ring, and this is how I make my magic ring. After your magic ring, you are going to chain 3. The chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. Inside the ring, we are going to be placing 15 double crochets in the ring. So including the chain 3, you would have 16 double crochet inside the ring. So go ahead and place 15 double crochets inside the ring, including the chain 3, making it 16. After your 15, you are going to pull to close off the ring, and on top of your first chain 3 space, you are going to make a slip knot to connect. So this is our first row. We are going to cut and join our second row. So just join it and pull to tighten your yarn. Row 2, you're going to chain 2. So you're going to chain 2 count as your first double crochet. We are going to be making 2 incomplete double crochets in the same stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook in the same stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and now you are going to yarn over again, and inside the same stitch you are going to make another double crochet, but this time you pull through. You are going to chain 1. In your next stitch, you are going to be making 3 incomplete double crochet in the same stitch. So this is 1, you don't pull through, you go in with 2, you don't pull through, and 3. You would have 4 loops on the loop on your hook, and then you pull through all 4. You are going to chain 1 again. In the next stitch, you are going to make the same thing. So 3 incomplete double crochet. So you make, and on the third one, you pull through, and you would have 4 loops on your hook, and then you pull through all 4. You are going to keep making this all around in each stitch until the end of the row. At the end of the row, you should have 16 clusters or 16 incomplete double crochet. So go ahead and I'll meet you at the end. At the end of the row, you are going to make a slip knot on top of your first 3 incomplete double crochet or your first 3 cluster. So this is the end of row 2. So you are going to chain 1, cut and fasten your work. So in total you should have 16 cluster or 16 incomplete double crochets. So now we are moving to row 3, and we are going to change our colors to yellow. So again, you are going to insert your hook inside any of your chain 1 space, and you are going to chain 3. Chain 3 count as your first double crochet. This time you are going to be making 4 incomplete double crochets. So the row 2 was only 3. Now row 3 we are going to be making 4 and pull through, and you are going to chain 2. Inside the next chain 1 space, we are going to be making 4 incomplete double crochet. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you would be having 5 loops on your hook, and you're going to pull through all 5, and you are going to chain 2, and in the next chain 1 space you are going to make 4 incomplete double crochet or cluster, and you're going to pull through chain 2. You are going to keep repeating this until the end of the row. At the end of the row, you are going to chain 2, and on top of your first cluster you are going to make a slip stitch. This is the end of row 3. You are going to chain 1, cut and fasten your yarn. This is what your work should be looking like. Now we are going to be making our corners, and that is the last row. That's row 5. So you are going to insert your hook inside any chain 2 space, and you are going to chain 4. Your chain 4 count as your first treble crochet. In the same space, you are going to be making 2 more trebles. So this is our first corner. 1. Inside the same space, you are going to make your second treble. So making it 3, chain 4 count as your first treble. Inside the very next stitch, you are going to make 3 double crochets in the same space. 1, 2 and 3. In the next stitch again, you are going to make 3 double crochets in the same space. So what I'm doing, I'm trying to crochet my tail ends so I wouldn't have a lot of cuttings to do. So inside the next stitch again, you are going to make 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Now, so the 3 double crochets is 3. Now we are going to make our corner, our second corner, and we are going to be working treble crochet. So place 3 treble crochets in the next stitch, chain 2 and place 3 trebles in the same stitch. So that's your second corner. 1, 2 and 3. So this is it. Now inside the 3 stitches, you are going to make 3 double crochets inside the next 3 stitches. So 3 double crochets in the same stitch. In your next stitch, you are going to make 3 double crochets and 3 double crochets in the last stitch. And now inside the 4th stitch, you are going to make your corner, and corner is 3 treble crochet, chain 2, 3 treble crochets. So you are going to repeat this all around. So 3 double crochets in the next 3 stitches and you make a corner. 3 double crochets in the next 3 stitches and you make a corner. So chain 2 and place 3 double crochets in the same stitch. So this is your 3rd corner, and you are going to keep working your corners until the end of the row. So at the end of the row, we had 3 double crochet. We started with 3 trebles, so we made half of our corner. So now we are going to complete our corner. So inside the same stitch where we began, you are going to make 3 trebles to complete the corner. You are going to chain 2 and you are going to slip stitch on top of the chain 4 space, and that is it for your square. You are going to chain 1, cut and fasten your yarn. So you are going to repeat this 4 more times. So this is 1. The squares has to be 5. So go ahead and watch the video from the beginning. If you didn't understand anything, feel free to slow it down and watch from the beginning and make 5 of this. So this is my 5, and this is what your work should be looking like. Now we are going to be working our centerpiece. It's the same thing, just that with the centerpiece, you have to begin with 20 double crochets in the same stitch. So the chain 3 count as your first double crochet, so you are going to work 90 more double crochets for the row 1, and you are going to keep the same thing. So in total you have 20 double crochets, and the corner, instead of 4, the center corner would be 5, and it's the same process: 3 corner, 3 corner, and this is me finishing up the center piece. So 3 double crochets, you make a corner, 3 double crochets, you make a corner, so it's 20. So in total you would have 5 corners. So at the end of the row you are going to chain 2, slip stitch, and we are going to leave a very long chain thread, because we are going to be using that to start stitching our work together. So I'm going to place my work, and I'm making sure that all the strands is facing the down parts of the work. I've not cut off anything, I've not cut my strands, so just try and place your work together. I'm just showing you how we are going to be sewing it to the center piece. So the center is 5 corners, so you are going to place all your double crochets around the center. So this is what the work should be like. And with the slip stitching it together, I'm going to be using my darning needle, but you can slip stitch it with you can use slip stitches or any method that works perfectly for you. Honestly, with the stitching it together, it doesn't, you just have to use any method that works for you. And this is what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to pick the front loop of my first piece and the back loop of the center piece, and I'm going to pull and I'll thread it. So this is how I'm going to be slip stitching all the sides together, and I'm working from the wrong side of the work. So the front loop of my first piece and the back loop of my center piece. And make sure your stitches are aligned. So this is what I'll be doing: front loop of the first piece and back loop of the center piece, front loop of the back piece and front loop of the first piece, and then the back loop of the center piece. So I'm going to keep alternating this until the end of the row. So at the end of the row, this is what your work should be looking like, and this is what the front looks like. And now the second, so as you can see, so I'm going to sew the second corner to the center piece. So I still have enough strand, and the same process I did for the first, I'm going to do the same thing for this as well. So the front piece, the front loop of my front piece, and then the back loop of my center piece, and I'm going to stitch it together until the end of the row. At the end of the row, you are going to place your third square, and you are going to stitch your third square the same process or the same method. And you are going to keep alternating this until the end of the row. If you've made it up until this point and you haven't subscribed to our channel, my love, my darling, please do. And if you're a returning subscriber and you've made it up until this point, leave us a heart sign under the comment section. It's always nice to know and to welcome you officially to the channel. So I'm attaching my fourth piece, and you are going to make the same process, and the fifth piece the same process. And now we are done. This is what your work should be looking like. Now you are going to make sure you tighten all your ends, your tails, and sew in if needed, and cut and fasten all loose ends. And I shall meet you when my work is neat. So this is again the wrong side of the work, but make sure you're securing everything. And this is me. I'm done cutting all my center pieces, and this is what the work looked like. I decided to just leave the tail ends because when I'm working, I will just work all around to hide those tail ends. The same process we used to attach the center piece, I use the same thing to attach we are going to be using the same process to attach the sides of our work. So at the end of the row, you are going to make a slip knot to join the tail ends together to secure it well. Now you are going to be using the same method to attach all the other sides, and I'm going to walk you through a few so you will see exactly what I'm doing. So again is the front piece, the front loop of the front piece, and the back loop of the second piece. So since we have some tail end here, I'll go by the same motion so I can hide the tail or the tail yarn of that tiny yarn before I'll start alternating it back and forth. So this is basically how to attach your work, and this is how the work should be looking like. So this is the right side of my work, and as you can see, it's very neat, and this is how it looks like. Now let's make a ruffle. So I'm going to be using the same green yarn for it, and you are going to attach your yarn at any of the corners of your work, and you are going to chain 2. Chain 2 counts as your first double crochet. In the next stitch, you are going to be working back loops only. So you are going to be making double crochet back loop only in each stitch until the end of the row. So double crochet back loop only. Until the end of the row. At the end of the row, you are going to slip stitch on top of your first double crochet. Now row 2, you are going to chain 3 again, and we are going to be working back loop only, but this time we are going to be working 3 double crochets in the same stitch, back loop only. So work 3 double crochets in the same stitch. So in each stitch you are going to work 3 double crochets, but all back loop only. 3 double crochets in each stitch all around till the end of the row. the end of the row, you are going to slip stitch. So this is the first row of your ruffle, and we are going to be making 4 rows of the ruffle. So the first row is 3 double crochets in the same stitch. Now the second row, you are going to chain 3, and you are going to be making normal double crochets in each stitch, but this time you are going to be making 2 double crochets in each stitch all around. So work 2 double crochets in each stitch until the end of the row, and that's row 2 of your ruffles. At the end of the row, you are going to slip stitch. Now row 3 of the ruffle, you are going to chain 3 again, and this time you are going to be working 2 double crochets in the same stitch, a double crochet in the next stitch. Two double crochets in the same stitch, a double crochet in the next stitch, 2 double crochets in the same stitch, a double crochet in the next stitch. You are going to keep repeating this until the end of the row. At the end of the row, you are going to slip stitch on top of the chain 3 space. Now the last row of the ruffles, you are going to chain 3, and this time is 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and you make 3 double crochets in the next 3 stitches, and you make 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and in the next 3 stitches you make 3 double crochets in each stitch, increase 3 double crochets in the next 3 stitches, increase 3 double crochets in the next 3 stitches. Increase means placing 2 double crochets in the same stitch. You are going to go around until the end of the row, and we shall slip stitch. So now you are going to chain 1, cut and fasten your yarn. So this is the first row of your ruffles, and this is what your work should be looking like. Now row 2 of your ruffle, we are going to be working on inside the back loop of the 2 rows. So that's the first back loop, and this is the second back loop, and we are going to be repeating the same thing we did these 4 rows the same way. We are going to be working in, this is the second, that's the second back loop, and after that we are going to repeat the same process for the third row. So this is how to connect your yarn, and you are going to chain 3, and inside the same stitch chain 3, count as your first double crochet. Inside the same stitch you are going to place 2 more double crochets, making it your first 3 double crochets in the same stitch. Now you are going to keep repeating. So in the next stitch you are going to place 3 double crochets in the same stitch. And you are going to keep repeating 3 double crochets. That's row 1. Row 2 is placing 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Row 3 is 2 double crochets in the same stitch, a double crochet in the next, 2 double crochet, a double crochet, and row 4 is 2 double crochets in the same stitch. You make 3 double crochets in the next 3 stitches and a double crochet. So that is how you are going to rotate this work until the end of the row, and you are going to make the same way for the other side as well. When you are done with this row, you are going to repeat the same exact thing for the third row. So keep doing this, and I'll meet you when I'm done with both of my ruffles, and I'll show you the final outcome of the work. And this is how my work turned out, and this is how it's looking. So the ruffles are plenty. Until we meet next week, my love, my darling, my baby is bye bye.